2 weeks ago, Jillian spoke about how to set up a real estate fund, and that was primarily focused on the equity side of the discussion. Today, I'm with my go-to Eric Stewart, and we're not going to be talking about equity. We are going to be talking the debt side of the equation. So today, it's going to be about an hour-long conversation. We're going to speak for about 45 minutes and then open it up for questions. As usual, if you look on the right-hand side of your panel, that's typically where it is. You'll see a chat box. I know that our office in California is monitoring the questions, and they will let me know when questions pop up and what we're going to talk about. So throughout the hour-long discussion, if a question comes to your mind, go ahead and type it in there, and we can talk more about it. First up, an overview of who MFIA is. Multifamily Investing Academy was founded by two attorneys, myself and Jillian Sidoti. Jillian is an attorney in California, and her practice specializes in raising private money, helping investors stay low from the SEC, making sure that they are protected and that they're doing everything legally. My practice, I'm out here in Massachusetts, is exclusively working with new and lightly seasoned investors who are interested in acquiring multifamily property, help them through the entire acquisition process, through the due diligence process, the transition to ownership. We introduce you to people on our team like Eric Stewart, make sure that you can get that deal closed as you go through the process. Multifamily Investing Academy was an organization that Jillian and I started. We are going through the process right now, making it a nonprofit. It is focusing entirely on providing education to investors. You can find out more information about that on our website, but definitely sign up on for our newsletters. We send out some great stuff throughout the course of the month, every month, to keep you up to speed on what's going on. So, next, housekeeping items. Starting next week, you are going to see an email come out introducing our new continuing education program. These are classes, online classes taught by either myself, Jillian. We'll have MBAs and accountants and other people that you can sign up for and register right online and listen to them on demand about different topics in the multifamily and private money raising arena. Coming up, you'll also hear more about our due diligence weekend seminar. We have one, both of them will be in June. One of them is going to be held in San Diego. The other one is going to be held in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a 2-day event where we really go dig down deep into the process of due diligence on a multifamily property. The reason why we're keeping one in San Diego, that's where Jillian's office is located, and then we are doing another seminar in Lexington, Kentucky, which is where I happen to own and operate a 222-unit apartment complex there, and we can use that property as a property, and we can show the investors exactly how we went through the due diligence process on that particular complex. If you have never heard of Integra Realty Resources, I recommend that you sign up for their newsletter, sign up for their viewpoint document. The website is right here online. But just recently, just in the last week, they've come out with their Viewpoint 2012 report, market trend report. It is one of the best documents out there if you're looking to analyze markets. I highly recommend you sign up for it, download it online. It can be sent in a nice, shiny, glossy magazine to your house. It sits on my desk throughout the course of the year. I refer to it often whenever I need to know what's going on in a particular marketplace. I highly recommend that you tap into that source for additional information. Also received notification the last couple of weeks that the 2012 Marcus and Millichap industry report is out and it's available, and you should go on their website at marcusmillichap.com to sign up for it. If you're not registered there, you should really get registered with it. It is the best information in the marketplace. What you'll also get notification for is their quarterly webcasts that anyone that wants to know what's on this particular marketplace, in this particular business, whatever they need to know, everyone listens to that webcast every quarter to find out what's going on in the apartment building business. It's one of the best out there. So that's the housekeeping for MFIA. Let me talk now and just give you an introduction of our guest today. Eric Stewart is the president of Commercial Capital of North America. Eric is, as I mentioned before, he's my go-to guy. If Eric says a deal can be done, the deal can be done. If Eric looks at a deal and says, no, this deal is not going to be financed, believe he tells you. He's never been wrong with me any time that I've worked with him. CCNAC has been providing access to capital for investors since 1997. Since 2007, they've been focused on multifamily investors. That has become pretty much their entire business. Wouldn't you say, Eric? Is that an accurate statement as I bring you into the conversation? Okay. Now you can do deals all over the country, so no matter who's on the call here today, regardless of where they are, regardless of the size, property, or the submarket that they're in, you're a guy that can help. Eric, okay, great. I'm sorry. You sound fine, and if someone who is on the call, we have 300 people have signed up for the call. If somebody could maybe just type something into chat, let me know. Is my voice coming through clearly? I'd appreciate any comment. So I will do my best to speak clearly and loudly and enunciate my words. So. Eric, what we really want to accomplish here today is to give the people on the call a very good understanding of exactly the process for getting a multifamily mortgage. We talk about so much time is spent on finding private money, but a bank is typically your biggest equity partner, so to let about what it takes to qualify for a multifamily mortgage. And I'm going to let you talk here, Eric, about what I call the alphabet soup of the multifamily mortgage business. So why don't you touch upon some of these items here, and then I'll just jump in whenever I need to. Thanks. And that's assumable as well, correct? I would say, if the go ahead. Now, I was going to ask you, Eric, as far as the FHA goes, it seems as though everything sounds great about an FHA loan. What are the negative features? Why aren't we all doing FHA loans? Okay, and if you take that $1,000 requirement and you compare and contrast that to a Fannie Mae deal, you're looking at a $200 to $250 per door requirement as an alternative, correct? Well, what can I use that $1,000 for? Whereas, with Fannie, I can use that money for capital improvements. You tell me that the FHA loan has the same requirement with about almost $500 per door ongoing, but this new requirement of $1,000 per door, what can I use that money for? Okay. I see. Okay. Now let's go through this last acronym of the DUS lender. That is a very common term, something that many of the new investors out there really get hands on. So why don't you give us a blow-by-blow on exactly what that means? All right. Let me just move ahead here. What elements of a loan should the new investor be shopping for? Obviously, we've got them up here, but I'd like you to just kind of walk us through each one of these elements and tell us, which one is more important than the other. Where should we keep our focus on? What types of things are negotiable with the lender as well? Gotcha. Eric. I'm getting some complaints from a couple of us. Actually, I don't know if it's my screen or my sound that's cutting in and out, but I hear you cutting in and out as well. So, we apologize. if it's both of us, Eric's down in Florida, I'm up here in Boston, and if it's happening to both of us, it sounds as though it's something to do with. I apologize. A better vendor for this type of thing. We're just going to have to deal with this call, so I apologize. I'll try to speak as clearly as possible. If you say something that you miss, please write a question in the the chat box, and we will cover it for you. So my apologies. But let me talk, Eric, a little bit. You made a great point about the term and making sure that the term matches up with what your exit strategy is. And this is key. If you are telling your investors that your property is going to be a 5-year hold, but you end up going out in a 10-year term, that poses a problem when it comes time to sell that property if there's any type of payment penalty. Would that be correct, Eric? Okay. Okay, we're getting word that it's my speaker that it seems to be the problem, so I can't blame it on GoToWebinar. I guess it's all me. Eric, you're sounding across fine, so I'm probably going to allow you to do more of the talking. I'll talk a little bit right now about leverage and the different types of leverage opportunities that are out there in the marketplace, because so many people come to me and they say things like, gee, I'm looking for a 100% loan or a 9% LTV. Can you give us the real picture on what goes on in the marketplace right now as far as the loan to value on a multifamily deal? Yep, go ahead. You would come at them with different amortization periods based upon the type of property that's out there. So why don't you tell us how you would look at these particular deals from a debt financing standpoint? That way, when an investor is looking at a particular deal, they know for me to figure out what my cash and cash return is going to be, what my return to my investors is going to be, I'm going to need to know exactly what type of debt numbers to use in my analysis. So let's take a look at the first one. Let's say it's a deal up in Pontiac, Michigan. Now, we all know what's going on in Pontiac. It's going to be 150 units, $7.5 million purchase price. It was $88,000. If I came to you looking for a mortgage, what types of terms would you give me on that? All right, what about the conduits and the insurance companies? Let's take a look at the next one. We're talking about a 20-unit property in the University Heights section of Dallas. It's a great property and it's running very well. Look at the after repair value, and they try to base that 65% on that number. So essentially what they're trying to do is come to the table on a hard money loan with no right. What would it look like on this? People need to understand when they're going to do the due diligence portion of their analysis is to the due diligence process, you know exactly what the concessions are, what the delinquencies occupancy is, what your economic vacancy is running at, what your physical vacancy is running at, because when you're done, you ask those types of questions. So you've got to be prepared through your analysis to make sure that you've done that type of process. When should the process for financing a deal start? Let me just try this again. I'm going to a good faith deposit is the equivalent to an earnest money deposit for the lender, essentially. All right, so give us an idea specifically. I mean, because you mentioned some small cap properties and being. So give the investors on the call here an idea as to exactly what type of money are they going to have to write checks for during that financing period. heavily negotiated. Turns around and says, hey, I have one, it may be 5 years old, but use this one. I'll give it to you, but if it's not good enough, I've seen that particular aspect of the negotiations drag on longer than many of the other aspects. And one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about, this saying, hey, come to me, come to me. Does it benefit the investor? Screen here. We talked about, there's one more thing here on this particular screen having to do with the pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter should qualify for a multifamily property. We had the hardest time trying to educate the broker as to how that. Get a hold of you. There's your personal cell phone. I appreciate you giving that out to me, give me approval to post that there. So anybody needs to get a hold of Eric, you can contact him directly there. Now, we're going to play a game because we're past the hour mark. But what I want to do is I'm going to ask, because it's phenomenal, I'm going to ask the questions, go right through them. And I tell you, there's so many brokers out there that they'll ask for the money up front, and then you'll never hear from them again. So be very careful. That's why I work with Eric. I know that's not the way Eric operates. That's why I'm recommending him here on this webcast. 30 seconds. Can you answer this question? remainder of the loan. I think what he's referring to is how do you come up with your down payment? Now, obviously, you can come up with a down payment by raising equity, but you've got let's say a 55% loan to value option only available to you. I think you use that. Right. All right. Are you able to help with the mezzanine lending as well? Yeah. Okay. Is the lender's LOI the same as today with reasonable terms and rates? But one of the issues with those local banks is the very tight to 20 or 2 year amortization. Is that your experience? Yeah. 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 Yeah, we had our she knew enough to get the deposit receipt. So we've gone over this before, but I think there's a little twist to this question, so I'm going to ask you far below the market. No. Now, Jorge asked a question. It's kind of a loaded question. I think I know exactly what your answer is going to be, but why don't you? Gee, I wasn't expecting that answer. Let me ask. I'm going to wrap it up in two more to answer your question. My apologies. We will be back. do it. If a deal can't be done, you want to talk to Eric. He will tell you if it's worth pursuing. In my own professional, it's wrong. So I highly recommend that you put him on your Rolodex, put him on your speed dial, use him as a resource. He is